Today is Thursday, January 12th, 2023. This is the annual board meeting for the Ogdenburg Bridge and Port Authority. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Lawrence, any letters of communications to the board?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there any approval of board minutes?
The December 13 minutes are not done yet, sir.
Okay, we'll put that off till next month. Report from the nominating committee, Mr. Coffin?
I would propose a slate that represents the existing officers renominated for the same positions. That would be Sam Burns as chair, Megan Witten as vice chair, Christopher Coffin as treasurer, and as assistant secretary, both offices, and David King as secretary and assistant treasurer.
Okay. Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes, I would propose that as a motion, unless there's discussion or.
Is there a second to the motion first?
I'll second.
It's been seconded. Now, is there any discussion? Anyone like anything different? Tony? Can she hear us? Can you hear us, Tony?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. I was muted by the organizer, so I couldn't unmute myself, but I can hear you.
Okay, did you hear the motion?
I did, yes.
Okay, any changes you desire to that motion?
No, I think that sounds good.
Okay. In light of that, motion's been made and seconded, no further discussion. Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Aye.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay, designation of staff. For the position of executive director and chief fiscal officer, is there a motion from anyone?
I'd be pleased to make a motion that Steve Lawrence be named as the executive director and that Patricia Nisko be named as the chief financial officer.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second's been made. Is there any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Thank you. Other appointments, council. The Wallatus Law Firm or anything in Canada, it's the Henderson Law Firm, correct?
Gallon Loeffler.
Oh,
Fleur.
Gowling Loeffler in Henderson.
Yes.
Okay. And while we're at it, if there's no objection, we can move on and do them all together. Newspapers for legal notices, Watertown Daily Times, banks, community, M&T, Wilmington Trust, Watertown Savings, Tompkins Trust, Key Bank, Bank of America, and other full-service commercial institutions. Is there a motion to appoint each one of those as a group?
Yes, I'd move to appoint them as a group.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Good. Now we can move on to reports. Income expense report, Mr. Coffin?
We've received a copy of the income and expense report for November and had a finance committee meeting earlier and reviewed that. I would tell you that it all was quite routine and looked predictable. It didn't produce, for me, any questions or comments. And I don't mean to draw this out, but I would defer to Patty to touch on anything that you think it might be appropriate for the board to know.
All right. If we look at the balance sheet, excuse me, I'll just touch on a couple of things. You'll notice our regular accounts receivable are at $374,000. And that is probably one of the lowest that we've had in a long time. But what it means is all the money's coming in on time. It's not that the receivables are low, it's just that the money is coming in as quickly as it goes out. So it's good. And we do have the new AEAS receivable. That has since all been paid up. That was at 1.1 million. And the wind turbine project, there was just a little left in November, and I believe that is almost all in. I believe there was one invoice yet to be paid. If we go down and look at our accounts payable, our regular accounts payable are at 524,000. Our AEAS, Contour Airlines, is at 761, and that's all been paid off. Our retirement, we have no retirement to spread out this year. It's all been paid. And our project accounts payable at 359,000 has all been paid off since that time. So our accounts payables are in good shape, as are receivables. Are there any questions? If you look at the income and the budget to actual income and expense report, just a couple of notes that I will make. In industrial park campus revenue, you'll notice that November has seen it go positive again. That's thanks to Anthony getting us 2 new tenants in building 11 quite quickly. And we're starting to see their monthly rents come in, so that's really helping. Our wind turbine revenue and expense will likely not change any longer. Those 2 projects are over for the winter. The seaway is closed, so pretty much everything that goes on and the port now will be rail and moving salt in and out, or out, mostly wind. We have 1 submission left on the ARPA monies for the airport, and that's approximately $190,000. After that, there will be no more ARPA money available. And that will also close, at least as far as we know, that will close the window on all federal subsidy for the airport that came out for COVID. Are there any questions on the budget to actual?
No questions. Thanks, Patty.
Thank you.
Chris, anything else?
No, I think that covers the financial report.
Go to the bridge traffic report, please.
Yes, December, when you look at percentages of auto crossings, kind of took a little step backwards. And most of that was, as you all know, how bad the weather was. There was hardly anything moving, and actually roadways were shut down here to a lesser extent, at least 2.5 days, and around one of the more important holidays for bridge traffic. So we try to catch a break, but we can't take on Mother Nature. So holiday traffic was really poor, and the U.S. is still requiring vaccinations. So that's figuring into the regular trips that people would take, the discretionary trips. I think that's having a factor. So that's still there. So I heard there was some rumor talk of maybe that going away, but I don't see it.
How does that play out? Are they questioning, let's say, Canadian people coming through and asking for
Yes.
proof of vaccination?
Yes, that's still in place.
But they're not doing that with U.S. citizens?
Correct. Yeah.
Because presumably US citizens can come back regardless.
Right. But generally, everything flows south. We're heavier on Canadian traffic than
Right.
US citizens
That's
going up
right.
and back.
Yep.
Yeah. And I did send out to all the board members a summary of all of the crossings from the Bridge and Tunnel Operators Association. That kind of, you can see the differences, how we compare to others. And then you can see some things, just make comparisons on what everybody else went through. Some of them are very similar to ours. I think overall our truck traffic was on the positive side. And I think compared to some of them took a percentage hit, whereas our truck traffic held its own. So that was kind of a bright spot. But you do see, when you see the bar graph, you just see how tiny we are compared to, some of the other bridges and the volume of traffic there. So it's quite surprising. And then when you see an overall annual of what a normal year, we'd be in the 600,000 range. And I think we're at what was it, 380?
387.
387. So, you look at, it's not quite half, but that's a lot of income to be missing. So
For sure.
But one thing we can talk about too, and James may mention it, but we did get the last vessel of the year came in we did it as a favor for the salt company. They couldn't get that vessel when it sailed, couldn't get up far enough and get back without incurring penalties. So they dropped 2 different products, and we were able to take that. And what we're doing is we're reloading that on trucks that are going to those locations up near, I think, Valleyfield and St. Catharines. And they are using our bridge. So, I have expectations of much higher truck traffic, and that's a boost there that we didn't expect. So that's a bit of a bright spot anyway. But this isn't road salt. It's chemical salt that's used for other functions. Some of it's bagged and some of it is used in a certain process. But to look at it, I don't know enough about the grades of salt, but it looks about the same. But we're moving that right now. So. Any questions?
What was that? 20,000 tons?
James, what was it? 18?
16.6
Sorry.
metric. So
Yeah.
18.
Close to 18 or 18.5 short tons. Yeah, which that's usually 3/4 of a regular vessel. But we did that as a favor to the salt company, and we want to be good partners. It took a little bit of doing. James did a great job of landing both the products separate. Just we were cramming a lot in there, but it all worked out. It's nothing we haven't seen before.
You had to move some stored salt in order to.
A little bit, but that was mostly in relation to the one. I'm taking all your thunder here, but we did get one wind turbine blade that, in order to make the turns to get in there, we had to move salt there for that. So we're quite busy there for this time of year.
I think they're averaging over 20 trips a day across the border.
How many
Really?
days do you think that's gonna run?
They're thinking 1 to 2 months, but I
Really?
don't know if it'll take that long.
I don't think so. I think, probably 3 weeks.
I don't think so.
Still,
Wow, that's
it's good.
All right. good work.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else regarding bridge traffic report? Now we'll move to the airport activity and occupancy report.
We were finally able to get September's numbers, so we have the full year plugged in. January through June being SkyWest, July through December being Contour. Contour's flight load for December was actually at 51%, which was excellent. But when you consider that they only had 33 flights out of the normal 42 or 52, the flight load was good, but the flights themselves were short. And our 2022 total on employed passengers is 7,872. I do believe we have one more year using the COVID
Grandfather did.
waiver. And I believe next year it will come into play that we will have to make that 10,000 employments.
As in 2023 or 2024?
2024.
2024.
So we have another year after this year to make sure we hit that 10,000 employment.
We have to work at it in 20.
It's a little breathing room, eh?
Little.
Little. And I see there's an agenda item that might help that. Okay. Any questions on the airport numbers? No? Oh, and the occupancy, I believe that's, where was that? I saw that somewhere.
That will be,
Isn't there an agenda item on a T hanger?
that's with the building occupancy that Anthony will touch on.
There is something on that just dawned on me. I was listening to the radio the other day with the ad.
Yeah.
The ad says contours beginning flights July 1st. And it was December. when-
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you fixed that or.
That's the process. I think that's with
Okay.
upstairs. So,
Factor that.
and the dollar amount as well, slightly off.
That's been corrected.
It's the
You know it's
process.
been corrected?
No, I can't confirm this moment, but I will confirm.
8:01 tomorrow, maybe?
Sure.
Might be a good idea. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kane. Information that's great to pass on. Port activity report, we've already touched on that a little. Is there any more?
20+ trucks. I know yesterday there was 2,400 ton that left the port. And if you look at the tons out previously through December, you can see that that's another 1,000 ton a day going out the door. So there's a lot of traffic at the port right now. The Thaw Rocks blending is currently at a hold just for dock frontage reasons. With that shipment coming in, it took place of where they were working from.
When do you expect that to be renewed?
I'm not sure if it will be, if we have reached enough tonnage to where the company is satisfied or not. We unloaded 5 rail cars, 4 being gluten pellets, 1 of the gluten meal, and there's plenty of inventory in stock. And that is kind of all I have from the thunder being taken away.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah.
Let me add one more thing. James was with me. We met with a customer, a possible customer, for shipping out wood pellets. But it's all preliminary right now, but we did a port tour today. And Adam was involved. Adam was the lead speaker on our behalf. And we were able to point to, in 2019, we had a wood pellet project in here. And that really served us well for the individuals here and what they're trying to do. And they're looking to just take a certain amount of pellets and ship them kind of on a regular basis, maybe every 1.5 to 2 months. And they would be going to Europe, to either Denmark or France. So it would really be good for the area because there's a local producer here that could supply them, but there would be others too to get that. We need that quantity that fast. But to go to talking about future budgets, that's something that was not figured into our budget. So the different things that I keep telling you little things that just will take the edge off of what our budget for next year.
Yep.
The things that we at the time we couldn't count on. We knew a little bit about that, but but that's about all I can say right now with that. So,
Yeah, it's appropriate not to say any more than.
no, it's not a sure thing, but it was very productive.
That sounds great.
Good.
Sorry, James.
That project would be trucked in, loaded onto a vessel and sent out.
So who is responsible for the format of these salt and everything?
Jessica and I do that.
Good. Easy to read,
Definitely old.
better than the old one. So thank you.
I know, I was like,
Whoa. That was a low blow.
You gotta hit them back sometimes.
yeah.
Very well
Like you
done.
got two birds with one stone. Good job.
Okay. All right. Building occupancy report and the industrial commercial prospect report. Anthony?
So the building occupancy report for the Commerce Park campus and for the Bridge Administration Building looks the same as it did in December. So that's good and bad. We're keeping consistent, but we do still have some vacant space, about 8% of our total portfolio. Really, that's condensed down to building number 4. We have some good warehousing, office space there. So we're in the process of light renovation of that space. Some marketing efforts in the Ottawa market. To try
It'd
to
be
get
easy
some-
to fill 10,000 square feet of that for one particular company.
Sure. So we're making some inroads with the business community in Ottawa. I have some phone calls next week with some even business journal magazines up there, and trying to get more ingrained into what's going on north of the border. So it's kind of we know where we want to be, and it's just working backwards and seeing, where do we have to spruce up and make sure we're putting out a valuable product. So
Going to the embassy yet?
close.
Close.
But no cigar. For the
Get them to
airport,
go to the embassy, Chris. I don't. It's a nice building. Man.
No, it's
no, it's
Relatively.
so. On a simple note, for the airport project, we've been spending a lot of time and research for event planning and catering. So we try to
good,
have
good.
those boxes checked when go live happens in 2025. So we're learning a lot and making some pretty good connections. So
Mm-hmm.
Good.
and you'll see we're working on 2023 lease renewals. So you'll see some of that work on these resolutions brought to you tonight, and some good news on some marketing front. So we're gaining traction, thankfully.
Good. So we can have, what is it, a dinosaur exhibit or something out there?
Dino
Yeah.
Quest.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
It's on reptile.
It's good. You're thinking ahead. Thank you. Any questions of Anthony? No? All right. Any unfinished business, Mr. Lawrence?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we'll move on to business items. Committee assignments, since everyone has come back in the same positions they've had before. I don't see any reason why we don't keep the committees as they had been before. Facilities Committee chaired by Mr. King, committee member Ms. Pickman. Bridge and Industrial Parks Committee chaired by Megan, member Ms. Terminelli. Finance and Audit Committee, again, chaired by Mr. Coffin, member Mr. King. Compliance, Strategic Planning and Bylaws Committee chaired by Tony Kennedy, member Mr. Manelli. Personnel and Sexual Harassment Committee chaired by Ms. Pickman, member Ms. Kennedy. Okay. No one said no. I've already signed it, so it's a done deal. Okay. Agenda item A2, approval of state mandated officer appointments. Mr. Lawrence?
Yes, as part of general administration, we're annually required to complete the reporting to New York State. And as part of that process, it is required by the state that the authority designate officer appointments to represent the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority. It is recommended by staff the following be appointed to the positions as outlined below. Contracting officer is the executive director. Liaison and Office of Prevention of Domestic Violence is the executive director. Internal Control Officer, that relates to board action of March 4th. And
2019.
19. And
I
Patty
don't
has,
think we have any desire to change that either right now.
okay.
No.
Minority Women and Business Enterprise Officer is the CFO. The Ethics Officer is the Executive Director. Data Coordinator is the CFO. Records Access Officer is the Economic Development Director. Service Disabled Veteran Owned Business Officer is the CFO. And the Sustainability Coordinator is the CFO. New York State requires these appointments be renewed each year at the annual meeting of the Board of Directors of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority.
Thank you. Resolutions before you. Is there a motion? Been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Jen, you've got that? Is there any discussion?
The only thing I
Call
see
the
is
roll.
the date says January 1st, 2022 through January, December 31st, 2022. I think they need to be 2023.
In the resolution.
Good eye.
Resolution, very
Good
good.
eye. Thank you, Tony. Clerical error. So again, you made the motion?
Yes.
And you agree with the change for the date
Do I have to do a motion?
as a clerical error?
Yep.
Chris, you
Yes,
seconded?
I second with the amendment.
Okay, as a clerical error. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Sweattick?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin?
Yes.
Agenda item A3, approval of collective bargaining agreement with CSEA Local 1000. Whoever's handling that.
Patty was
Collective
lead on
bargaining
this.
agreement between the authority and the CSEA Local 1000 will expire on March 31st, 2023. A new agreement has been negotiated by authority staff and the CSEA. Such agreement was formally ratified by the Employees Association on December 9th, 2022. The term of the agreement is April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2028. Staff recommends the approval of the agreement with the CSEA Local 1000.
Okay. The resolution is before you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And seconded. Just for clarification, any highlights you'd like to explain to the board?
I do believe, I have it. I can put it, there it is. There will be a fixed annual increase of 3% each year for the term of the contract instead of the minimum 2% with the CPI cap.
Mhm.
So that will bring that in line. It's something that we can budget every year. We added Juneteenth to the days off.
Mhm.
The union requested that we look at the vacation time after 10 years of service. In the old union agreement, it was the same amount for anything after 10 years. So we have changed that to have additional time through 10 to 14 years, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, and then 25 and above is capped. It will give them, if they stay through 25 years, it would give them 8 additional days of vacation. The employees will be able to cash in up to 40 hours of vacation time, one time per year at the employee's current rate of pay. We did a lot of wordsmithing on things such as jury duty, military leave, voting, all things that needed to get in line with current wording. And a lot of the policies that were added in the back dealt with the sexual harassment, the violence in the workplace, all of those things that definitely needed to be updated. The employees that are called in will now have will get 4 hours call-in time instead of 2 hours call-in time. We will be offering in April a new health insurance policy that will mirror what we have, but it will be a little less expensive. So that is put in here that as of April 1st, we will get that to them for the new plan year. And we did some wordsmithing on the disciplinary action. So it speaks directly to what the actions would be instead of just having a general discussion of the actions that could happen. The biggest change is they requested that the new hire steps be brought back, and that's in the contract. So after your first year, beginning of your second year, you would get a 50-cent per hour step increase, the same at the end of your second year going into your third year, and the same at the end of your third year going into your fourth year. This was done away with many years ago under the prior management. And instead, they changed many of the job grades. So they moved some of the job 6 grades up to grade 9. Then some of the others had to be adjusted. As some were moved up, some had to be adjusted, but they are requesting that the steps be put back in. It is in there. They approved it. That is here for us to accept or reject.
So again, the local 1,000 member have already ratified that.
Yes,
So obviously they're happy with the negotiated contract.
yes, they are.
Good.
Oh, one thing they did lose was instead of getting half, if you did not take our insurance, instead of getting half of the insurance back as a buyback, they're getting a flat fee of $5,000.
Okay.
Which is quite a reduction from 13,000, 14,000 they were getting.
Good. Now I'm lost. Was there a motion?
Yes.
Jen, call the roll, please. If there's no further discussion. Tony, you good?
The only thing I see is section 1. It looks like full-time employees were changed. Did the contract include other employees previously?
the statement in Article 2 recognition that the contract includes all, it previously said regular employees. We put regular full-time because part-time employees are not covered by the CSEA contract.
Okay, so it was more just a clarifying change.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Patty.
Okay. Ready?
Who seconded?
Tony?
I did.
Oh,
Okay, call the roll, please.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes. Move on to agenda item B1.
Okay. Approval of lease supplement number 19 with Dr. Carol Griffith and Mr. Harold Lambert. Staff has negotiated lease supplement number 19 with Dr. Carol Griffith and Mr. Harold Lambert for 389 square feet of office space in suites 205 and 206 of the Bridge Administration Building for an 18-month period commencing March 1st, 2023 and terminating August 31st, 2024 at a rate of $18 per square foot, equaling $583.50 per month, $10,503 for the 18-month period inclusive of utilities. All other terms and conditions of the original lease agreement shall remain in full force and effect and are hereby ratified and affirmed. These tenants have been longstanding tenants with us, and that lease rate does reflect an increase. They'll be with us at least for another 18 months, hopefully.
Good. Your motion
So moved.
made, seconded. Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item B2.
Okay, approval of lease supplement number 4 with Demers Incorporated. Staff has negotiated lease supplement number 4 with Demers Incorporated for 120 square feet of office space in suite 201A of the Bridge Administration Building for a 1-year period commencing February 1st, 2023 and terminating January 31st, 2024 at a rate of $18 per square foot, equaling $180 per month, $2,160 for the 1-year period inclusive of utilities. All other terms and conditions of the original lease agreement shall remain in full force and effect and are hereby ratified and affirmed. Very similar situation to the previous tenants, longstanding tenants.
Good. Is there a motion?
I'll make the
I'll make
motion.
that motion.
Made and
I'll
seconded.
second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, agenda item C1.
Okay, approval of lease supplement number 4 with Quality Hearing Instruments LLC, also known as Miracle Ear. Staff has negotiated lease supplement number 4 with Quality Hearing Instruments LLC for 424 square feet of office space in Building 1 of the Commerce Park campus for a 2-year period commencing February 1st, 2023 and terminating January 31st, 2025 at a rate of $15 per square foot, equaling $530 per month, $6,360 annually, inclusive of utilities. All other terms and conditions of the original lease agreement shall remain in full force and effect and are hereby ratified and affirmed.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Made
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Agenda item D1.
Okay. Approval of T-Hanger lease agreement with Bird Tate. Staff has negotiated a new lease agreement with Bird Tate for T-Hanger number 8 at the Ogdensburg International Airport for a 1-year period commencing January 1st, 2023 and terminating December 31st, 2023 at a rate of $215 per month, $2,580 for the 1-year period inclusive of utilities. That lease rate is unchanged from prior years. This T hangar lease agreement is the last of the cluster that was approved a number of months ago. So in all fairness, those rates were unchanged. I carried that over to this as well. But it's certainly something to be explored for the next renewal cycle.
Good.
When's the last time I feel like the hangar rates have been unchanged for quite a while.
It's correct.
Yeah.
They need to be looked at.
Something the new airport manager might want to look at whenever he or she is on board. Is there a motion made and seconded? Is there any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item D2.
Approval of the purchase of New Deal Blend runway de-icer. Runway safety is critical, and OBPA OGS is responsible for the safe operation of aircraft on its runway in all weather conditions. Due to the climate in Ogdensburg, New York, it is necessary to prepare for an implement a snow and ice control plan. New Deal Blend de-icer is an approved FAA de-ice material that has been used with success in past winter weather events at OGS. The material comes in a 2,205 pound bag at $2,991.42 per bag. Staff requests a purchase of an additional 2 bags of de-icing chemical, currently costing $5,892.83. As a de-icing chemical is being purchased on an as-needed, instead of stockpiling the product, it is requested that a second purchase of 2 bags for not more than $6,500 be able to be made this winter without further board approval. We are currently down to less than 2 bags. In a typical storm ice event, 1 bag would be used.
You would use 1 bag.
And that would cover,
And that's over like a 1-day period for a winter event, or is that like a,
I know it's good for at least 12 that I know of, have heard of.
Okay.
But
12 hours?
yes,
And our crews have gotten very good at knowing how to use it.
Okay.
So it's, I know back in 2016 and or 17, our bill in de-icing was $135,000.
Yeah.
With that, and it was just,
I remember.
it was, so they've really done well without not sacrificing any kind of safety or anything like that.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Made by Chris,
Second.
seconded by Megan. Is there any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes. All right, what happened to the rest of my agenda?
Whoever was doing the copying must have messed it up.
That's the same guy that had the old format?
Yep.
Agenda item D3, approval of advertising agreement with WPBS.
Yes, so staff seeks to enter into an agreement with WPBS of Watertown, New York for 1 year of television and website advertising for the Ogdensburg International Airport, which includes 30 television spots per week and 1 rotating advertisement on WPBSTV.org at a total cost of $6,000. WPBS coverage map is provided below for reference. So that'll give you an idea of what the coverage is, and if I can show you what the actual advertisements will be or are currently.
Ogdensburg International Airport, less than 5 miles from the U.S.-Canadian border. Direct flights to Philadelphia through Contour Airlines with interline connections through American Airlines. With daily departure times and upgraded cabin service. Online at ogsair.com. Ogdensburg International Airport, less than 5 miles from the US-Canadian
I
border.
thought that was,
Experience single-level access to all areas with a close paid parking lot and drop-off area. Fast service at security checkpoints and CT scanners that allow you to keep your electronics and liquids in your bag. Direct flights to Philadelphia through Contour Airlines with interline connections through American Airlines. With convenient departure times and upgraded cabin service, book your next flight with us.
Your PPS famous.
Yes.
That was cheap help, I think.
WPBS.
All hands on deck is all hands on deck.
That's what we could afford.
Chris?
Amazing job.
WPBS did the production.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And what's
Oh,
What's nice
okay.
with working with WPBS, one of the many things is that they'll come back and do that essentially as many times as we'd like, so we can freshen up advertisements. I wouldn't take advantage of that situation, but,
You wouldn't.
and what's nice. And another nice thing is that they allow us to use those clips for anything. So on
Oh.
a website,
Wow, that was
it
nice.
could be on other television channels. So,
Oh, good.
um,
Another coverage map that I have in front of me, a large chunk of northern New York and southeastern Ontario, which is excellent.
yeah, it gets good
Well,
cross-border
Well,
coverage,
you've
which
got
is
that.
we like.
They're on
that's the last.
I'm good.
today in
You got it.
Ottawa.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And I forget what the actual channel numbers are, but for us, if you're a Spectrum customer, it's channel 12, I believe.
Yes,
So
you're right.
that-
Yep.
I've caught it multiple times after the Rick Steve segment, so it's right around the travel segment.
Very good. Is there a motion made? And seconded. Is there any further discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes,
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
thank you. Agenda item D4.
Okay, approval of St. Lawrence County ARPA Tourism Travel Hospitality and Promotion Program Grant Agreement. So the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority has been awarded a grant from St. Lawrence County under the ARPA Tourism Travel and Hospitality Promotion Program. This grant is for marketing and advertising activities for the Ogdensburg International Airport, namely a new customer-focused website and out-of-home advertising in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. The grant requires grantee matching funds of 20% for a grant award funding breakdown as follows. So St. Lawrence County ARPA grant program is 80%. They will give us 25,000. Ogdensburg International Airport internal funding is 20% at $6,414 for a total project cost of $31,415. Staff seeks to enter into an agreement with St. Lawrence County to accept this grant. We are very pleased and happy to have received this grant.
So we have,
Yes, we're very thankful to St. Lawrence County, the Industrial Development Agency, and the St. Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce for granting us these funds. And we look forward to working with them as well to make the most of this.
thank you.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. There's a second
Second.
and seconded. Either one, you got either one? Okay. Any discussion? Not, Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes,
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
thank you. Now, this will have no effect on the I Love New York grant. Is that still out there?
No, that's totally separate.
When does that come out?
I'll
I'm
inquire.
not sure. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I know it was out there. And if I remember right, it was like 75 grand, wasn't it? Last time we got that?
It's close to that.
That would be nice to receive too. Good, thank you, Anthony. Board of Ogdensburg, E, nothing. It says I appreciate that. My favorite part, I have nothing.
I told you.
Oh, wait a minute, here it is. Other such matters.
Yes. Bring a little bit to you.
Under other such matters, item 3. Is that, have I got things in the right order?
Yeah, that's a clerical error.
Okay. Approval of a grant agreement, New York State Department of Transportation, Mr. Lawrence or whoever's.
Yes. Part of the grant agreement is we're required to get a board resolution approving that the board wants to utilize the funds. So the grant agreement was sent to me yesterday morning, so I apologize for it being late, but to wait any longer. We've already been waiting a little bit more than we expected. So with this, we also do have a firm that we've already picked as our railroad consultant. It was Erdman Anthony, and we'll be working with them on this. So with this, the authority has received a passenger and freight rail assistance program, PFRAP, funding grant agreement from the New York State Department of Transportation, NISDOT, which provides for the wharf track rehabilitation and improvements to the Marine Terminal Warehouse number 2 at the Port of Ogdensburg, which is the project, and it's identified as NYDOT PIN, which is project identification number 7935.31.301. The Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority desires to advance the project by committing funds for the local match. The breakdown of the funding shares being New York State Department of Transportation, $1,164,681. The Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority, $129,409. That's roughly a little bit over 10% of the whole total project. You can see that number isn't quite exact, but it's around 10%. Staff recommends acceptance of a grant offer from New York State Department of Transportation for work at the Port of Ogdensburg described as wharf track rehabilitation and improvements to Marine Terminal Warehouse number 2 at the Port of Ogdensburg, identified as NYDOT project identification number 7935.31.301. Just a refresher, it's when they say wharf track, we're going to upgrade the track along both sides of, let's see where we got it.
Right behind you.
Yeah, I can show you right here, just so. The track that goes right from here and then out on the, that'll all be taken up and new asphalt and new track. A heavier duty track will be installed in its place. And then this is building 2 right here. That's had roof issues. Salt has gotten in a lot of the roof joints and things like that, and had corrosion over time. So we've had issues with keeping that water weathertight. So those are the 2 main projects on that.
Everything goes smooth.
You have a question?
Nope.
Oh.
Comment that I should keep to myself.
Okay. I agree.
So basically, this replaces the old line that runs to the end of the dock, correct?
You're correct. Yep.
Okay, and goes to not just to, I'm trying to think. Now 6 is the original building that's
Yeah.
out there?
Those both are like in a Y. They come to one focus point right outside of building 2. Then they go on the
Yes.
newer track that was parallel and goes over the rail unloading pit that we installed with the grain
The
bin.
grain bins,
And then
right?
then you head right back out. So the track's in pretty good shape right up to the grain bins. But with all the traffic and over the years,
Mhm.
that asphalt's all broken out. And also it's not, the rating of the track is got to be a little bit higher. So that's to replace all of that.
I'm actually trying to remember the last time I seen a locomotive down in there.
It's probably got to be a good 8 or 10 years.
Oh.
I can say when the night of Hurricane Sandy, and you can see, I think one or two, those, we were loading those locomotives and we had a power outage in the city. And,
Oh, that's right.
that was the last time there was any real activity there. Also too, in building 2, we're installing 2 new overhead rolling doors. The main ones that we use, they're getting to the end of their useful life. So that is part of that. It's not just roofing, it's also replacing those doors.
Is that the use of the new rail, would that help with any movement of salt or any other product along the dock itself?
Yeah, it could, you know, with the new conveyor that we've got,
Mhm.
you could actually, with either salt, you could bring rail cars over there and unload them. In almost, if you, I don't know if there's no, you see the empty next to the right of the 6 there?
Mhm.
We always store salt there, so you
Right.
could take salt right out of there, you know,
Right.
5 cars at a time, unload it and just run it right up there. And then also you could load into the buildings, grains and things like that, but to have that upgraded would be a real boost. Not to mention, there's a loading dock on this side of building 6 that you could actually take material in and load hopper cars if
Right.
you had to. So it really upgrades everything. One thing I want to mention, just because they talked about the rail car conveyor, with loading salt this year too, with that Chrissy grant, we have that new loader. So we're not renting anything extra. So we're starting to turn that around to where we're not spending it on another rental when we get an increase in business. And that'll show up later on with some of the projects that we're working on. So
Right.
I know
So this grant and the Chrissy grant makes us more productive, more efficient down at the port, which therefore drops our cost of anyone using our port pretty much.
right.
Okay. Good. I'm all in favor of making the port more productive. Because that's where the revenue is, right, Mr. Lawrence?
Correct.
In case I needed to point that out there. Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion? It's been made. Is there a second? Thank you, Tony. Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? If not, Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Okay. My understanding that Mr. King will have to sign something. Does it have
Yes.
to be notarized or? Do we have a notary here?
Yeah.
That would be,
You're a you are a notary.
Oh, wonderful.
you have your,
I have my card. I don't have a stamp on me, but I have my card. Mhm.
Boy,
See, it's a good thing you're here tonight.
boy.
Show up in person, we really
Yeah,
nail you
that's
down, dude. It's like next time, I'm just gonna be online.
Make sure I can't come tonight.
Was that the only other such matters?
That's correct.
Okay. Anything else?
No, Mr. Chairman.
No. Any concluding comments from any board members or authority staff? Tony, you good?
I'm good, thank you.
You don't have a comment regarding the governor's comments on daycare centers? I got her thinking.
Oh, sorry, yes, I think it's very exciting. I'm really excited, and I think we're gonna resume our meetings and hopefully get the ball rolling.
Well, we do have the 2.1 million now. That's been voted on and approved.
Yeah, that
That's
certainly
there.
helps.
And the total package cost was 4.5?
Correct.
4.5, so we're still looking for 2.4. And I'm hoping between our other representatives at all levels of government, we will obtain that amount of money and get this built. In my opinion, it's long overdue.
We do have a grant application that we're working on for roughly 934.
I thought it was 43.
43.
943.
It's our third iteration of that, and we have spent quite a bit of time getting debriefed and understanding what needs to happen and to make our application stronger this time. The 2.1 definitely will give us a lot more belief in the project from people reviewing our application. So that's a big plus.
Good. The operator, anticipated operator is still
Arc of,
with us and ready to
Yes.
go?
yes, and they're aware of all of the happenings in the last month, and quite as excited as we are.
Good. We're moving forward. It's just taking longer than some of us had anticipated. Anything else?
No, nothing that I'm aware of.
Any member? No? Next meeting date is already on here for all of 2023. Let's just look at February 9th. Is that possible for the majority of us? Works for me.
Yes,
It's good for you, Tony?
it is, yes.
Good. Everyone else? Good. Chris, you good?
I think so. I need to take a quick look, but I would assume so, Sam.
Dave? Okay. So let's just, at the time, stay with February 9th. Maybe there won't be other tournaments going on, so. Good?
All good.
All right, so we'll plan on February 9th at 5, I assume. Is there a motion, before I do that, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just have a couple quick questions if I could, please. Steve, what did you say the grant amount was you were going for the child care center?
943,000.
And Anthony, is Miracle a new tenant or is that just renewing an existing one?
I'm renewing an existing lease.
Oh, the passenger and freight rail assistance program, is that something you've had a press release on before? Or is that-
Yeah, it was announced, I don't know, I can't remember whether it was, it might have been late spring maybe, but
Okay,
they announced us and then also our partner, New York and Ogdensburg Railroad, they got a grant also to improve, I believe, a stretch from Norwood to Norfolk. They want to,
Okay.
so they were also part of that.
yeah, that sounds familiar. Okay, no, that was all the questions I had, thank you.
Andy, the grant amount's 954.
Okay,
954.
Yeah.
Thank you.
really prepared.
Okay, anything else?
Nope,
Good.
that easy to read table, huh?
Yeah.
That one might not be. James, you're gonna have to help him out. All right, nothing else, or motion to adjourn? Motion, was need for executive session?
No.
Okay, motion to adjourn's been made, second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
I.
opposed? No opposition, we stand adjourned. Okay, do we stay on, okay. So we need to go to the border station.
You're recording again?
We are recording? Okay. This is the annual meeting of the Augsburg Border Station Incorporated. It is Thursday, January 12th, 2023. It is 6:08 PM. This meeting is called to order. Our first order of business is election of officers. Mr. Coffin, do you have a recommendation?
I'll present a slate. In the interest of stability. The slate has all the current officers serving in the same position for another term. So that would be Sam Burns as chair, Megan Whitten as vice chair, Christopher Coffin as treasurer and also as assistant secretary, David King as secretary and assistant treasurer. And I would put that in the form of a motion.
Thank you. Motion's been
Second.
made. Thank you. It's been seconded. Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin.
Yes.
Okay, designation of staff. Mr. Kaufman, do you have a recommendation?
We propose to renew the designation of Steve Lawrence as executive director and Patty Nisko, Patricia Nisko as chief financial officer.
Thank you. That's a motion.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And seconded. Is there any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes. Other appointments, we can loop these together. Counsel, Pilatus Law Firm, newspaper for legal notices, Watertown Daily Times, banks, Community Bank, NA, M&T Bank, NA Wilmington Trust, Tompkins Trust, Watertown Savings Bank, Key Bank, Bank of America, and other full-service commercial institutions. Is there a motion for those appointments?
So moved.
Made,
Second.
seconded, any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Ms. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Okay. Any concluding comments from board members, authority staff? None? Next meeting date to be determined. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Made and
Second.
seconded? Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We stand adjourned. Move on to the Augsburg Bridge Authority. Annual meeting is Thursday, January 12th, 2023. It is 6:13 PM. This meeting is called to order. Report from the nominating committee, Mr. Coffin.
I would propose the slate of officers who are currently serving. That would be as chair, Sam Burns, vice chair, Megan Whitten, as treasurer and also assistant secretary, Christopher Coffin, and as secretary and also assistant treasurer, David King.
Okay,
That's a motion?
thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes,
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy,
Yes.
thank you. Designation of staff, Mr. Coffin.
We would propose to rename our current staff with pleasure and name Steve Lawrence as executive director and Patricia Nisko as chief financial officer.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Is that a motion?
Yes, that is.
Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. King. Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Okay, that's approved. Other appointments. Council calling WLG for Canada LLP. Is there a motion to appoint that firm?
So moved.
Been made. Is there a second? Seconded? Any discussion? None? Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Thank you. Next meeting date proposed is July 13th, 2023 at 5 PM, which can be changed at any time. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? We stand adjourned. Any other business for anything? No,
No, Mr. Chairman.
we're all done.